What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we have a data download here on Global, and it's kind of interesting because with these data downloads, we've been noticing that they've actually been dropping on Global first, which obviously I'm a big fan of because I can read it to you guys without having to wait for a global one to come later on, and we don't need to wait for translations. This is good, and this is awesome because we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of new stuff, including a brand new Kizuna Sugo-Fest that we already knew was coming. One thing to note though is that there's no brand new Kizuna legend, so I'm really happy to say there's not going to be another legend that you have to pull for. This SugoFest does seem pretty interesting though, and we'll go through it in this video today. There's a bunch of new characters, well, there's 2 new characters, and there's also the announcement of another Super Evolution character coming into the game, and it is a character that many have wanted for a long time to receive their buff, and I gotta say, the unit is pretty good. I'm actually relatively happy with the buff that they've given to this unit, and we'll talk about that very soon. But before we do that, let's jump into the SugoFest first. This is coming on February 18th, which is actually like while the treasure map is still live. I'm not really too sure why they're doing that. They're not really holding off. I guess maybe because February is a shorter month, so they actually don't get a couple of extra days towards the end of the month to host the SugoFest and host everything regarding that. So it is a little bit strange that they are doing it in this fashion. But February 18th is when the Kizuna Sugo-Fest is going to go live. We'll talk about the new units in just a moment, but let's actually talk about the steps. So the first step here is a class pickup SugoFest character guaranteed, meaning that, you know, it's usually a limited rare recruit, a Kizuna character. If you get a red, it's guaranteed to be a Kizuna Clash SugoFest exclusive. And of course, on the banner you see Toki, Kaido crew is going to be available. Hopefully characters like Sabo, Ace, maybe Capone crew, will have to wait and see. The second one is a legend or a rate boosted step, everybody's favorite. The third is a recommended character. Let's actually have a look real quick. So we've got Kaido crew and Toki. If you get a red, you're guaranteed to get that on the third multi. Then you've also got 2 new characters, being Milky, which is the character in the middle, and then you've got Tristan and Miyagi, I think his name is, for the other character. The new Ace that came out in January is going to be available once again as a recommended unit. Likely Marco's will be pullable as well. And then the Sai Carrot is also going to be available too as a recommended unit. Now after that, we've got a guaranteed legend on the 4th multi, and then the 5th is a guaranteed new character, which of course is going to be either Miyagi and Tristan, or it's going to be Milky, which we'll talk about those new units in just a moment. Then we've got the class pickup character on the 6th, and of course it's just going to cycle from this point onwards, another recommended unit on the 10th. But of course I don't really suggest doing that many multis on this type of banner, unless if you really desperately want to get your hands on Toki, which, I mean, Toki's probably one of the best units in the game. I still think this character is like probably top 4, top 3 best unit in the game. Absolutely phenomenal unit. And then Kaido crew obviously is available. We don't know like what other Kizuna legends are available, like you know, obviously Sanji and Pudding, Capone crew, as we've already said, Ace, Sabo, etc. Right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but either way, let's actually jump into these brand new units. Let's start off with this one here, which is going to be Miyagi and Tristan. Their captain ability will boost Cerebral and Striker by 3x and heal 3 times recovery at the end of the turn. Nothing special there. And then the captain ability is, or the special ability should I say, is multi-stage. So let's check out the stage 2. 14 turns. Reduces Cerebral and Striker character special charge time by 2. Reduces the bind and attack down by 6 turns. That's pretty good. Block slots and badly matching are changed into matching, and heal for 3 turns. It's pretty good. It's actually a very good special ability. 14 turns is a bit steep, and they do not have cooldown reduction at the start of the fight with their potential ability. And then the stage 1 is -1 cooldown, 4 turns of bind and attack down removal. That's really good on a 9-turn cooldown, and then you still get the healing for 3 turns. It's a good special. I mean, let's have a look at their crewmate effect. They resist special reverse. That makes sense. Actually, does this special reduce it by 2? Yeah, the special... Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a good unit. This is actually a hella good unit. And Cerebral and Striker get 50 base stats. That's whatever. And then they also have pinch healing. They have slot bind by 5. They have a support effect to Cerebral units, which is nothing special there. But honestly, as a generic unit in content, I mean, yeah, this is a pretty nice unit to have. Let's actually jump over... Oh, they've actually got Rumble stuff. And their passive is going to give Cerebral HP level 5, attack level 5, and defense level 3. Whoa, that is incredible for a Kizuna rare recruit character. This is on the levels of a PvP rare recruit in terms of how good it is. Now, of course, the thing is that Cerebral in PvP are pretty bad right now, but this is just only going to make them better. I mean, unless if they have a terrible special. 31 CT is pretty high. They do Cerebral teammates 500 HP per interval auto healing for 15 seconds. Not that great. Teammates within a large range for level 7 attack, level 7 speed, level 7 guard up. It's fine. It's not the best out there, but that passive is incredible. HP and attack level 5, defense level 3. That's just so good. That is so good. 70% chance to avoid paralysis and reduce damage from free spirit. I mean, in PvP, they're usable just because of their passive alone. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't really figured out a cerebral team in PvP. It's interesting nonetheless. But either way, pretty good unit. I'm gonna say it's actually a pretty decent unit. Now, the next character is Milky. So this is like the higher boosted character. This character will actually have a buffed captain ability in the Kizuna as well. I believe it'll be a 5.25 times multiplier. But as generic, it's going to be a 3x multiplier with a 1.2 health boost and dex slots are going to be beneficial. This unit obviously being free spirit cerebral, also a dex unit. Now the special ability is only one stage, no multi-stage here, but it reduces resilience by 6, special bind by 6 as well, and if you've got full HP when you launch the special, free spirit and cerebral get a 2.25 times slot effect boost. Otherwise it's a 2 times orb boost for 2 turns. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the utility is the best part, obviously. 6 turns of resilience and 6 turns of special bind. I mean, to be honest, I think I like Miyagi and Tristan a little bit more. I feel like that utility that they provide might be a bit more useful. But then again, like, removing 6 turns of special bind is pretty niche. And if in this Kizuna you have to deal with 6 turns of special bind, what I would expect is going to occur is it's going to be 5 turns, and then after level 30, they'll add an additional turn to it to be 6 turns. That's what I expect to be happening in this situation. I think this special is okay. And then the crewmate effect resists 7 turns of special bind, pretty good. And then also additional stats to the free spirit and cerebral, which is nothing special. Quick damage reduction for a potential ability, yeah, not that good. And then slot bind reduction by 5. Support effect, nothing special there, unfortunately. And this character also has rumble abilities. Okay, so the passive, cerebral characters, level 5 attack, level 5 recovery, level 5 speed. I definitely prefer Miyagi and Tristan's passive because HP and defense is a little bit more valuable than recovery and speed up, in my personal opinion. Okay, 23 CT though is pretty good. Let's see what it does. Cerebral teammates, level 5 crit, level 5 defense, level 5 attack. That's good. And then enemies in a large range for an 80% chance of paralysis for 15 seconds. I mean, paralysis isn't the best debuff to inflict to the enemy in PvP. The best one would be special bind, so they can't launch their special, or action bind, so they literally can't do anything. Those are the 2 best debuffs. Paralysis, it's fine, but it's not the most broken debuff in the game. I think this is definitely pretty good. I wish this special was on Miyagi and Tristan. That unit would be broken as hell, having that passive and a special like this. If you just mix the 2 units, would actually be godly. But of course, these units are not meant to be used in PvP, but it's nice that they do have some type of additional stuff going on for Pirate Rumble if you do choose to opt for that, because we did recently have the release of Kara and Wanda, and their passive and their special are so centered around the cerebral class. It's just we don't have a lot of good cerebral units, but now you can run Kara and Wanda alongside these 2 units and actually build a pretty solid team. So I like that they're doing that, something a little bit different. Now, the last thing that we have to do before we end this video is talk about the brand new super evolution coming to the game, which is none other than V2 Doflamingo. Yes, he is finally receiving that super evolution that so many people have been waiting for. Now, Doflamingo, a lot of people have been talking about how they can actually do a 6+ for this character, because one of the big issues with this unit is his special, because it's based on the amount of overkill damage that you do, and the more overkill damage you do to an enemy, the more damage his special can output. But the problem is, it's a damage dealing special, and we all know that normal attacks only literally made this guy useless in so much content. So it's one of the big drawbacks to this unit. So what we do hope is that they find some way to make him usable despite normal attacks only being as prevalent as it is. So let's go ahead and have a breakdown of V2 Doflamingo with his super evolution. So of course, in order to evolve him, you do need these skulls, which should be available in the upcoming Kizuna Clash. And here we have the man himself, 6+ Don Quixote Doflamingo Rage Fueled Massacre. Let's jump straight into it. He's a Dex driven cerebral, no changes to his classes there or color. His captain effect boosts driven characters' health by 1.4, boost their attack by 4.5 if you've got a matching slot, 3.75 times otherwise. Dex and quick are matching, and also drastically reduce the chances of you landing on a strength slot. This is essentially the exact same captain effect that we've had, except the multipliers are higher in terms of health and attack. all of those are buffed. I believe before it was like 1.2 or 1.3 times health. Going up to 1.4 is really good. And before, even with expansion, right? With expansion, it did get buffed from 3.9 to a 4 times multiplier if you had a matching slot. Now it's just starting off at 4.5 with the matching slot. So maybe with the expansion, it might go up to 4.75, maybe 4.6. We'll have to wait and see what they do. But that's pretty good. And this is without expansion, by the way. A 4.5 times multiplier, I think, is really good, because on your burst turns, you're going to be hitting really hard, can hybrid well with a lot of other good units in the game. I don't see an issue with this captain effect, and it's pretty much what we expected. I mean, it would have been cool if they would have potentially added utility piece in his captain effect, or just make strength matching as well. I think that probably would have made a lot of sense too. But despite that, I think this is actually a really solid captain effect for the unit and what he was, okay? But the big thing is his special ability. What are they going to do to his special ability to alter, you know, just to make it usable, right? Just make it usable against normal attacks only. And I can tell you that they've definitely done that. So his special ability now does 2.5 times overkill damage. So he just does more damage with overkill, which is ridiculous. But of course, because of how prevalent normal attacks only is, that's not going to really see that much play. But then it says at the bottom there, if the crew has non-normal attacks, deal 1 damage status. Boost driven character's attack by 2.5 times for 1 turn, and Psi and Int slots are also beneficial for 1 turn. Personally, I think that beneficial slot thing probably should have just made like Psi, Int, Recovery, and Tandem slots, like just make them all matching, or just change all slots into matching. Would have been really cool as well. And I do think, in my opinion, that the beneficial slot should have lasted for 3 turns, or at a minimum 2 turns, just so you can get around enemies inflicting you with bad, negative, beneficial effects. But despite that, yes, they've made him usable in content where normal attacks only is going to be present, which is all we really could have asked for. So I think a lot of people are still going to be kind of pissed in the fact that, you know, he doesn't do damage through normal attacks only. I don't think they would have given this type of powerful special to a unit with the regular 6+. I wasn't expecting it, and I think that if you were expecting it, I think it's just asking for a bit too much, in my opinion. I personally believe this is a good super evolution for this unit. I think they've got a great captain ability, and he has a very powerful special that can be used even as a crewmate on a lot of really good teams. Now, that's not the only thing that we can talk about. We can also talk about his rumble abilities, which have also changed from his previous kit. Looking at his passive though, he gives driven characters level 6 attack, and your Dex teammates get level 6 speed and level 6 defense. So he himself is getting all of this. Level 6 attack, level 6 speed, level 6 defense. He himself is really good. But then you can run him on a driven based team, or you can run him on a Dex based team. Though Dex don't really run that many driven units at the moment anyways, especially with the release of Dogstorm and Cat Viper. So in a lot of cases, you're probably going to use him just on a mono driven, or you're probably going to use him as a bench unit just to wave clear a bunch of enemies, because previous to this, one of the best units to use on the bench is Super Type Zoro, who is also a legend character, because as time progresses, his special does more and more damage. However, when you have a look at Doflamingo's special on a 28 CT cooldown, targets enemies in a large range for 2 times his attack, and then when there's 60 seconds or less remaining, he does an additional 1 times his attack, and then if there's 45 seconds or less, another 1 times attack, and if there's 30 seconds or less, another 1 times attack. So this guy is going to be hitting ridiculously hard, especially because it is a large range damage, and it's not a large range horizontal, it's a large range, which means he's going to be hitting a majority of the enemy, depending on positioning, of course. But this guy's going to be hitting incredibly hard, and this is going to be one of those new units you can now use on the bench, come in late game, and just sweep the opponent, which I think is actually really nice for this unit. In terms of his other things, he also heals 250 health at each interval, which it doesn't really matter that much, and he just does, you know, normal behavior patterns there. Targets the closest enemies. I think this is a pretty good super evolution for Doflamingo. All we can really ask with 6+s is make them more relevant and fixing just some of the flaws that the character had previously. And I think that's exactly what they've done. They've made the character stronger, and they've fixed a lot of the flaws with the unit and what they had previously. Now, they didn't perfect the unit. They didn't make the unit bypass normal attacks only, which is what many people wanted. That was a pipe dream though. That was definitely never going to happen. But I think with what we have, I'm pretty satisfied, honestly. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on 6+ Doflamingo and the brand new SugoFest characters down below in the comment section. That is going to wrap this one up today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.